You're listening to Edge Radio TV. The views and opinions expressed in this program are that of the host or guests, and not the Edge Radio Network or its advertisers or affiliates.
Hello. Welcome to the Women's Empowerment segment here on Edge Radio TV Network. It is Friday.
I'm so excited.
Are you feeling it?
I'm feeling it.
TGIF.
I can't wait for the weekend. Don't even know what I'm doing. I just know I'm not doing much.
I'm your host, Nicole Giddens, health and fitness expert and founder of Halo PR. I got my co-host and favorite sidekick, L. Brooke White, entrepreneur extraordinaire, and of Brooke White Real Estate Services.
Yes.
So where can they hit you up if they need anything
Facebook,
real estate?
Brooke White. That's just my name under there. And then my email, Brooke White, Texas Realtor at gmail.com. Texas is TX abbreviated.
And if you need a notary, wherever you're at, let them know you want Brooke White, and she'll come out and add the spunk.
Tell your
to
title
a very
company.
boring
Yeah,
situation.
seriously, it's a fun time. I'm serious. I just did a closing before I came here, actually, and we did it in the title office. And they were like, wow, this is normally boring. I was like, nothing's boring with me. So
she brings the party.
I really do. You can tell your title company. They'll refer. You can tell them my name, and they will find me.
And if you need any assistance at all in media, commercials, podcasts, events, anything PR, you can find me on halopr@yahoo.com or follow my Halo PR Facebook page. So we're doing our little plugs right here.
Yes.
But do you know today is, in this month, is mental health awareness. We have child abuse awareness. And
autism as well
across the board. So that's a very strong topic of conversation today.
Yes.
We have an awesome guest, and she's going to tell us her survivor story. But first, I wanted to look up some statistics on domestic violence, and there are some statistics out there for bullying. And it's a very important topic for me.
Me too.
I was bullied at school, and I think that parents aren't aware of when their child is doing it.
That's true. I agree.
And a child that gets bullied is most likely going to get involved in an abusive relationship later on in life because they're just looking to be wanted and they're easily manipulated. So it's a pretty strong subject.
It is.
And we all need to be aware of what's going on. We need to listen to the voices of our children, and we really need to reprimand these kids that are doing these things, a lot of times,
and it's more prevalent than people really even realize, because even more now. I remember being called names and stuff like that. And actually, my oldest told me the other day that someone called her a name, and it struck back a memory because I was called the same name, and I was like, well, we look just like twins, so Rocket Girl. I was like, they're just mean people if they're calling other people names, I just thought it was weird. It was the same name.
Well, but that is kind of weird.
It was weird. It was an animal, and and I was like, they called you what? And I remember being on the bus, and he was like 6 years older than me. He was a high schooler. I was really young, and he just kept calling me this name. And I was like, I couldn't believe my daughter was called the same thing.
And girls are worse at it than boys.
Oh, they are mean.
And they're vicious.
They're mean. Now, boys, I will say, I think they do that, I'm mean to you, but I like you, but not always. Not always. Girls are malicious, like, to the core.
Yeah, and if you hear your daughter talking about another girl, tell her to stop.
Yes.
Especially with her friends. That creates inner circles of a hate circle on one specific individual.
Right.
And do you know that when you are feeling rejected, your brain stimulates the same type of chemicals as if you're getting physically abused? Wow. So that can cause PTSD. That can cause trauma. Yes. Get it to stop. And people that are involved in these types of situations end up later in life, getting themselves into trouble because they self-medicate, they get on drugs, things like that. So stop the madness.
It does start at home. I mean, I know a lot of houses don't have the upbringing as others. I understand that. But, I mean, we have to at least try, everyone, try to start at home and fix the problem. But sometimes I will say it doesn't matter what you do at home. You go out into society, kids corrupt other kids, and that's it.
And sometimes hurt people. So there might be something going on at home with the parents. I mean, we've got in September 2020, we had 121 countries had adopted measures to strengthen services for women survivors of violence during the global crisis. So that's good. But 6% of women report that have been subjected to some type of violence or sexual violence globally. Wow. So that's a really, really big problem. 137 women are killed by a member of their family every day.
Every day?
Every day. That's crazy. Yep. Fewer than 40% of women who experience violence seek help of any sort. So a lot of them are not even going and trying to find the help that they need to overcome these obstacles.
And so these numbers are just from the ones that are reporting it.
Yeah, I mean, it causes disturbance in your mental health. You got to think about it, It
does.
37% of women aged 15 to 49 living in countries classified by Sustainable Development Goals as at least developed have been subject to physical or sexual intimate partner violence in their life.
Wow.
37%, 15 to 49.
And it's, I mean, it's believable. I mean, most people that you have no clue what a woman that you're next to every single day has gone through just because she smiles every day.
That's right. Just because you can put on that fake smile.
And honestly, I don't know. I mean, I think it starts out as a fake smile, but it turns into a real smile because you get out of it. So I mean, it's an acting job a lot of times when you're in a relationship like that, because you have to act around your family like nothing's wrong. Like, so you're so accustomed to acting. Yeah. Like, I could have had an Oscar. I mean,
well, it causes, you to have bad relationships later on in life. Yes. I mean, I watched my dad at least 2 to 3 times a year beat my mom all the way up to when I was 10 years old. Mm-hmm. And it was, what kind of mood is dad going to be home when he gets home today? And it was breaking furniture and dragging my mom outside the door and just all kinds of stuff. So, and then you got to go to school the next day and act like everything is normal.
There's that.
I mean, it's
crazy.
You
have no clue.
You have no clue what people are going through. They had here 15 million adolescent girls worldwide aged 15 to 19 have experienced forced sex. That's a huge number.
What was the number?
15 million adolescent girls worldwide.
Every year?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That just goes to show the... I don't even know. I don't know if it's a perpetrator thing or a controlled... I can't explain it because I'm not someone that would do it, so I don't know.
I don't know.
It's just so sad.
It is really, really sad. And I think that, when people have that perception that women ask for it by how they act or how they dress.
That's wrong.
That's a load
Because
of crap.
Honestly, I mean, I can even look outside the box. Yes, these people that are victimizing these other people are bad in itself. But what happened to them? What happened to them? Because it's a cycle. We all know. Everybody that hurts somebody hurts somebody else. It's a cycle. So really, everyone's hurting here. It's like, it's just sad. That's how our society's become, though. And you have to put a stop to it. Your voice is what will really help, is speaking out and trying to help others, I guess. I mean, what else can we do?
It paints a pretty rocky path for these people. And then if they do end up getting incarcerated, I mean, it's just so sad. It is. It's so sad. And they've had such a hard life, and they've been dealing with so much. And then you have to deal with the backlash from society because you've been incarcerated, and then you're judged, and then the background checks and all this stuff, and people just look at what's on paper and they don't understand your story. They know this much of your story, and your story is this big.
It's true.
And they'll judge you and they'll talk about you. It's just so unfair to people. That's why I love our guest today, because she rehabilitates those women.
She is amazing. I can't wait to hear from her.
She is amazing.
I know, there's so much. Like, I'm like, what? There's more? We got more to talk about?
I mean, everybody can be rehabilitated. There's a goodness in a lot of people.
I think that on certain things, yes, definitely. I think on other things, maybe not so much. But I know that there are people out there that can, and they need the help once they get out, because they have changed their whole entire life. So, I mean, we need people to help them people too. Like
That's
I said,
right.
everyone's hurting.
That's right.
So, I mean,
that's right. And don't be afraid to share your story.
yeah. No, I think that's something that I like to say the most now because I'm coming forward more about my own story. Use your voice. Because once I started using my voice, everything changed.
Well, don't you feel free?
Oh man, yes. Yes.
I mean, there's a difference in the Brooke White that I had as a guest when we were
I
on the
know.
Amber Neal show. When Amber Neal
And
was
you've known
with
me the
us,
whole time.
The women's empowerment segment. When you let that out that day,
I know.
I've seen a whole different person.
And that was almost
so
a year
much
ago.
healing
That'll
to
be
that.
a year in May, right? I think we went in May. It was May last year. So literally, I've just started talking about it, and it's freeing. I will say it. It's scary.
I wish we could
but it's
remember
freeing.
the date so we can make it like an anniversary for you or
It's
something.
probably on the edge.
Oh yeah, we can find it.
It's a video.
Hello, stupid.
Oh, God.
Excuse
Okay.
me for a second.
I don't remember. I want to say it was May. It was after the pandemic. Well, it wasn't. It was in the middle of the pandemic. I don't remember. We'll find out.
So, it's speaking of bullying, I got a statistic here. They said 1 in 3 students aged 11 through 15 have been bullied by their peers at school at least once in the past month.
Well, I believe that. Both my kids came home and said people were being mean this month alone.
There's so much hostility in this world right now.
Mhm.
Everybody's so angry, man. I
know.
got flipped off the other day on the freeway. I don't even know what I did.
So, that would be
I mean,
me.
I honestly don't even know
I just
what I
wave.
did.
I'm like, I'm sorry. Okay.
No, I thought I was just staying in my lane and maybe I wasn't going fast
They're
enough
having
for
a
them.
bad day. I take it that way. They're having a bad day. I don't want to get in their way. I don't because no, I just stay back.
It's
these days.
crazy.
You never know what someone's going to do on the road, and I might do the same if you do it to me. So.
Well, and there's just such a low vibration in society these days too, with just all the preservatives we eat and the fast food and just the environments that we put ourselves in and everything that is exploited on TV that it's exploited as okay. And
yes.
you're putting yourself in a low vibration. You have to be very, very careful as to what you think about, what you're ingesting food-wise and in your mental health. It's
All of
very
it.
important.
Every single bit of it is.
Yep, and I think that low vibration overflows onto these children,
Oh, I know that.
you know?
Oh, definitely. And I don't think the school system is. Well, I know the school systems aren't the way they used to be. They're just not. Definitely the older ages. And I'm just now getting into that. So I'm like, wait, y'all allow this? I'm used to elementary. Like, I mean, I don't. You know what I mean? So it's just different. Schools are totally different.
You can't be kind, just be quiet.
I mean,
How about that?
I like that. I love that. Teach your kids that too, because I've taught
That's what
my
I'm
kids
saying.
that. Yeah,
You
my
know?
kids know better. They know they better never be the one on the side of bullying.
Oh, I've always said that to my kids.
Put the
I've
fear in
always
your
said
kids because I'm going to be the one bullying you when you get home.
Mhm.
Don't be mean. Like,
Yeah.
don't you dare be mean. So I wouldn't say bullying. Somebody might take that out of context. But you know what I mean? They will be in trouble. You're not allowed to ever, you just need to be nice and be kind out there.
Yeah.
Because there's enough negativity. Let's bring some positivity.
That's right. Always be acceptable to the others around you,
Yeah.
you know?
Which my girls know too. Because I've taught them, you never know what someone else is going through, even as a child, you know, like they have lives too. You have no clue. So treat them as if their day is horrible and you want to make it better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think everyone should walk around like that and think like that.
And teen parents, open dialogue is very, very important. You know, if there is a peer that your daughter or son is hanging out with and you're concerned about what type of, you know, influence that they have on your daughter, try to reach out to the parents. The parents might not know what's going on, so they can address it and fix the situation.
I agree.
You know?
I agree.
I think that things are brushed too much up underneath the rug because everybody's trying to mind their own business.
Right.
If there's a diplomatic way that you can address certain situations, that a parent could be truly thankful for you telling them at the end of the day.
Well, yeah, because you would never know, like, if someone doesn't tell you. So
yeah, it's so selfish not to try to say something.
I would rather someone come to me and say, this is what your daughter's doing, so I can reprimand them and find out both sides. Like, I don't need a third party from the school. Like, you know what I mean? Like we were talking about. I would want someone to come tell me.
That's right.
You know?
And teachers, coaches, people that have authoritative figures that are supposed to be disciplining our children and teaching them an education, remember your words are strong and they can hurt, you know?
And saying stuff
be
like,
patient.
Yeah, be patient with them and take things serious.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to have Kimberly Lanier on.
We're so excited. I'm so excited.
Pastor and ordained minister. So you guys Hold tight. We'll be back in a few.
Here's what I want to do. We're talking about EMFs, which are electromagnetic fields. Those are man-made frequencies from our cell phones, microwaves, etc. Okay? Well, this is the way I feel. First of all, scalar energy was not invented, it was discovered. It's in the environment, just like we have gravity. Okay? Gravity is part of what makes this Earth function. So is scalar energy and negative ions. Okay? Yeah. Well, so what I take this, and I'm putting this wristband right here on your drink. Okay? And I just want to stir this around in there for a little bit. Okay? Now what I want you to do is I just want to take a sip. Okay, you got a sip? Put your arms back out. Lift your leg and resist me.
What?
Oh my God, this is real, y'all.
Okay, so when I mentioned we were talking about doing ingestibles, now grab your cell phone.
Superwoman.
Open it. Unlock your phone.
Okay. There we go.
Put it to your head. Put it down. Put your arms back out. Lift your leg. Resist me.
This is ridiculous.
Your phone took it away.
Right. So the EMFs of the phone take that right away. Okay? And so
are you a small business owner concerned about the downturn in the economy? Top business leaders like Mattress Mac and Warren Buffett will tell you that now is the time to promote your business more than ever. People need your services. Your business needs an edge. Learn about special advertising packages for small businesses right here on Edge Radio. Find out more, give us a call at 281-744-0446. That's 281-744-0446. Edge, because truth still matters.
Welcome back to the Women's Empowerment segment here on Edge Radio TV Network. That commercial was funny.
I know, I saw it. I know.
That stuff is for real.
It is
you guys
real.
need to check it out.
I wasn't faking that. Like, that was real.
No, that's some good stuff. The guy that invented scalar energy is from Tesla.
I know.
Yeah,
yes.
he's a genius.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff. We have our guest here.
We're so excited.
Pastor Kimberline Lanier. Welcome to the show.
Thank you
Welcome.
for having me.
Oh
We're so
my
excited.
gosh, I'm so excited to have you. I don't even know where to begin with
I don't
you.
either.
I know.
You have so much to talk about, like, and I just love it. Oh.
Well, the true core of what I do is addressing homelessness.
Oh.
So I had to go back and see what happened to people that got them in the state of being near homeless.
Okay.
Or in homelessness.
Right.
And the hardest place of a group of people in the homeless society is women with children.
Oh, yes.
Because children in the world of placing them are a liability. So then I had to address everything that came with them and their children. Right?
Wow.
Abuse.
Yes.
Trauma. Financial, fiscally sound things after coming out of trauma.
Right.
Because when women go through trauma, we can recover. There's so many resources now for housing and all of these things, but most of the time, the only thing that's available to them are mid-level jobs or low-earning jobs, which still puts them in a cycle because they have to earn money to pay for now being housed.
Right.
But then you have daycare and the expenses of taking care of a kid, and then you don't have time to go back to school. So that cycle is really what gave me, because I deal in gray areas, meaning veterans. When I'm dealing with my veterans, I don't deal with the standard veteran who got discharged honorably.
Right.
I deal with the veterans who got discharged within less than honorable, which means they may not qualify for medical services at the VA hospital.
Right.
So what do you do with them? They may not qualify for the housing program through the VA.
Yeah, so what do you
do? They might not qualify for, I know veterans who served 30 years and got in trouble the last 4 years of their service, and voila, all of that goes away.
And it's not necessarily they're the only ones that are doing it. They're just the only one that got caught.
Right.
How
right.
Dang,
that's so sad.
That's
a deal.
That is a deal.
So I told God, man, you gave me like the hard stuff.
I think I've had the same conversation with that man. He got me through it, but I mean, yes.
I just was like, what are you thinking up there? Hey,
what do you want me to do?
Girl?
No, seriously, it's like, what do you want me to do? Give me the skill and I'll do it.
Yeah. Really.
Because I can't see your vision.
It just feels like I'm floating everywhere.
Yes.
But so to tie everything up, I deal with homelessness and the prevention of it.
Okay.
With my children aging out of CPS.
Oh, yes.
Every year in just Harris County, 82% will age out.
So that means they're staying in custody of the state until they are 18. Yep.
And then they're
aging
just
out.
gone.
Now
and they just send them on to the
world.
world.
The CPS system is so large. So just think about it. I know it's easy to bash the workers, but think about it. The workers have families.
No, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And they're overwhelmed. And I know because I have workers who are softcore whistleblowers. So they'll call me when something's going on with their job. They want us to do this. They want us to do that. You know what I mean? And those things put them, it makes them to be morally compromised. I got to fight for the child. For instance, I'll give you a scenario. Say mom gets CPS called on her and mom and dad are not together.
Okay.
Dad is a good guy, but he may not make the best money, but he's a good guy. Okay, mom has custody of the kids and you drug test mom. But why is it that you got to drug test dad too? He's not the one that has a case against. So now dad's on trial. So you'd rather place the kid in care of somebody that's unfamiliar to them rather than give dad custody because he's a chance.
A chance.
Because you don't know why does he have to walk into the
Why
scenario?
can't they first try to rehabilitate the parents first? Put them on some type of probation where they have to be held accountable for what they're doing.
They do. So they put them on
then
probation.
Still let the children stay, though.
No. Because of the reason that CPS was ever called in the first place. It's usually surrounding some sort of abuse.
Oh, abuse. Well, if it's abuse, I get it.
I totally agree that whoever the kid is saying did something, they need to be separated.
Oh,
immediately.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be sexual.
If it's abuse.
No, and it doesn't have to be. It's not always sexual.
Physical.
Yes,
abuse,
mental.
mental. It's a lot that the kids go through.
A filthy house, I've heard. Also, living, all of that.
Reporting.
Yes.
So
yes, I've heard of that.
That's unsanitary.
Yeah.
It's so unsanitary.
So moving, I had no idea what God was going to ever use me for. Now, as a child, I already knew it was something.
Right. We knew I was his child.
Right. Yeah, we knew.
I was the same thing.
So when I started going through, like, I think that was you that talked about, because on the way here, I was like, well, so God, I don't want to make my parents look bad, but how do I talk about things in a freeing way? Right. Because salvation is free, but freedom ain't.
Amen.
And I meant to say ain't.
I know,
it's
right?
hard work to be free in who God created you to be, to do what he called you to do the way he called you to do it. And it may not look like how you're doing it. You can learn from my path, but my path isn't for you. So everything that I've gone through has conditioned me to now. It's like an antibody. They tell you, like with the COVID shot. Yes, the COVID shot could be effective for helping prevent it, but they're begging people who's had COVID and recovered to donate blood. Why? They talk about the antibodies that are in that blood that will heal. Analogy. So everything I've gone through has now made me an antibody to combat it. Homelessness. I was sleeping in the car with my 5 kids. Abuse. I was physically abused in a relationship. Forgiveness. Wow. I used to hate that I could forgive easily. And God had to show me I did that so you wouldn't poison the rest of the gifts so you could operate in love.
Yeah, because you can be bitter
and ruin a lot of things because you're bitter.
Your whole demeanor.
And he can't fully use you. You'll be helping everybody to heal and you're not healed. Amen. That's why some pastors can preach behind a pulpit but yet still fall in sin because what they're speaking is the truth. That's why I've learned to be balanced with everybody, and I'm still learning that lesson. What I mean by that is I take truth from anybody. I don't care if you're living it or not. It's not my issue if you're living it or not. Is it true? Is it true? Yes. I'll take that. Right. Because it's true, and I can apply it to my life. You know, I went somewhere recently on vacation, and I was sitting around in an environment, and most of the people were affluently wealthy, right? I'm taking in an environment, and what I noticed about them is they shared information. They never questioned who I was. And I remember sitting at the bar, and a gentleman and his wife were there, and she was like, honey, tell her all about, you know, he invented this huge thing. It's going through the Baylor rounds and all of this. Wow. And he was so free to tell me. It was like he knew. It's like he knew I could not take from what is his.
He wasn't worried either.
He's not worried.
He wasn't
and
worried.
That's freedom.
It is.
That you're not worried that somebody can take away from your path.
No, it's true.
And we're talking about women empowerment, and that's the one thing I want women to understand. We don't have to worry about the next person taken away from our power. No. There are billions of people in this world, and my power is mine to reach whomever the message is for within my sphere of purpose and influence.
That is absolutely right.
We can all be sitting on this platform, and it's somebody that may hear me over you guys, or hear you, something they may have heard over and over again. That's why I tell people, I used to get hurt when my kids sing like, I just told you this, and somebody tell them and it resonates. And God had to get my attention to say, aren't you just glad that it resonated? So do you want credit, or do you want them to be better?
Right. Oh, that's a good one.
You know, that's true. Do you always have to feel like the justification of your actions? What's deal. Your true purpose of why you're doing it? I think as humans, we're fallible, and sometimes we're like, well, you know, where's my return? Here I am, and you don't providing a blessing.
Always, see it or get it when you think you're getting one, but don't think you won't get a blessing.
Right. You know? And for me, he had to reel me back in because I remember as a little girl, I had appointed vision of what marriage would be like for me.
Oh, yes, me too.
Right? And the kind of man. Now, my mom and her sisters were aggressively assertive women.
Okay.
And so I remember thinking, I like submission. Submission to me has not and has never been a dirty word.
Right.
I had to recently own that I was giving my power to men who didn't deserve it.
Yes.
So I'm still a believer of the marriage covenant and submission. I just had to learn that I got a say in who I submit that to.
Amen.
Right?
No, it's true.
I have a say in it.
It's true.
And I think we as women, we talk about the emotional legacy. I heard you talk about your story in the first segment. And you were saying coming home and seeing an aggressive father. That's emotional legacy. I had the same type of thing, except it wasn't my father. My mom was pretty aggressive. But that came from my mom being sexually abused at 16 by her school teacher.
Wow.
In the Black community,
wow.
in the Black community, teachers, pastors.
Yeah, you don't talk about that.
They were icons.
Right.
So imagine your icon, the community icon, violating you, and you get pregnant.
Oh, no.
Okay, and this is before women's rights. We're talking about in segregation in the Deep South.
No.
So you pregnant. Strike 3. She opted to keep the baby. Where is that heard of? You have an affluent family wanting the baby. Nope, I'm going to keep my baby. No resources for women, period, especially Black women.
Right.
Yes.
Right? So then you have that. And then, and this is stories that she said out loud. My mom's now deceased, so I can say it. So when you're passing down things, my dad was the most calmest and solid relationship she had, but she was still aggressive. Where did she go to heal?
Right.
So I'm more in awe of my mom now than ever before. And I see your producer waving, so when we come back, we'll talk about emotional trauma.
I'm like mesmerized by your
I
know something. I'm all like, tell me more.
We're going to talk about emotional legacy.
We'll be back in just a moment. See you soon.
Right. We'll be right back.
Edge Radio TV is holding auditions for new show hosts. Are you a subject matter expert, professional, influencer, book author, thought leader, or business owner with an educational or motivational platform? Then we want to meet you. Send a link of some of your work to edgeradio20@gmail.com and be sure to put audition in the subject line. Join the Edge Radio TV family. Edge TV, because truth still matters.
Hey y'all, I'm Robin B.
And I'm Dr. Kiva.
And we just want to know
how you living?
Join us every Monday
at noon Central Standard Time
here on Edge Radio TV. Take care.
When people stop talking to each other, society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters.
Welcome back to the Women's Empowerment segment here on Edge Radio TV Network. We've got a real strong subject today, and we have an amazing guest, Pastor Kimberly Lanier. So thank you so much for coming on today. We were talking about domestic violence and emotional legacies and what she does to help children and prevent people from being homeless. So let's continue on with that conversation.
So in talking about emotional legacy, I know we all hear, do as I say and not as I do.
Right.
Well, the emotional legacy part says that, but I'm comprehending what you do. So a scenario, on the way back from lighting my mom's cigarettes on the stove, I take a quick puff. And so one time I got in trouble for taking a puff. You know, I got a whipping. Well, the lesson I learned from it is only grown people can smoke. So I can't wait to get grown. They never said, hey, I got hooked on this. This is a bad habit and it's tobacco. It's not good for you. Mm-hmm. So they didn't explain the rule. I just know I got punished. And what I took from that was when I get grown, and that's what you take, the dad being aggressive. You take that lesson and learn that that's a part of relationships. That's what I learned. You're going to have a falling out once or twice a year. Be happy it's only once or twice a year, you know, but you don't leave your husband. Then clue in religion with that. So I was pissed off at God because it's like, if this is what you allow me to go through for the sake of a covenant marriage, I tell you what, I don't want to serve you. Cue me another God in. You know what I mean?
Then you start getting mad at God.
Then you get mad, and then you go on your own search. So I ended up on my own search, trauma bonding because I had an emotional legacy of trauma that I thought was normal. My then husband, had an emotional legacy of trauma and quietness, and everything stays in the family. We get together, the relationship was beautiful because we got a shared experience.
Right.
But then cue in Gulf War, PTSD before it was popular, you know, no place to express yourself. I knew how to be a good wife, but I didn't know how to process all of that. All I knew was, and I didn't even know the term emotional legacy, all I knew was I didn't want my children to grow up in this environment and think this is normal. That's all I knew. And that is what gave me the strength to leave. Right. That I didn't leave because he was cheating. I didn't leave because the money got short. I didn't leave for any other reason than I looked at my children, and I had 5 kids, and said, this is not what I want them to repeat.
Exactly.
Because I found myself repeating some things that happened watching my parents' relationship. Now, their relationships overall was great, and so now I'm learning to sift through their relationship and look for the greatness in it. Because they were good parents. You know, we had a home when home ownership for minorities were not a big deal. I mean, you know, that it didn't happen. Both my parents were entrepreneurs. So they were strong. They gave me good legacies. But do we only talk about the good, in a sense, making our parents martyrs and not being able to talk about what you missed? And then, like, I went to my kids and apologized for what I missed. I was in trauma.
Yeah.
My mom didn't talk about her pain.
I know that feeling.
She told me what happened, but she never dissected her pain. I thought that it was over.
See, and I've done that. I've dissected it with my girls on purpose.
Yeah.
So they know and know not to repeat those things. You have to.
Yeah, you do. No,
you know,
you have to.
And I think holding it in is what makes things worse because they don't know what you're going through.
And that's what I'm saying with my parents. They were not taught to, you know, stay in a child's place. That was our thing. Don't be in adults' conversations. You know, they go to the beauty shop and talk about, girl, you know what he did? You know what I mean? The beauty shops became the therapist center and all of the community hub to talk about what your man did and all this kind of stuff. And then the community get you guys back together and say, you know, don't break up, stay, and God gonna bless your marriage.
Everyone's all about
and they do that,
stay together.
but they don't talk to their young girls coming of age to say, this hurt. and show that you can get back on the same track with your spouse, depending on what the abuse is.
True.
You know, they didn't teach us the tools to get it back on track. They just did it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
now all I know is just to get back. Let's just get back on track. He not beating me today, so we good. You know,
which is a lot of people's mentality. They think like that, like, oh, it's a good day.
Well,
I've been the same though.
They'll
Oh,
tell
we're
you they'll
doing
never
good.
do it again.
We're doing good for a couple months. We're doing good, and then it's bam. I mean, it's just Jekyll and Hyde.
And they'll cry.
And it's and then they cry.
So sorry.
Right.
Oh my God! And then they cry. Like I know.
And so then you feel bad because they're crying.
Because now you're the mean one.
Because we women,
it's all your fault.
Right. We women are taught. I had a segment in my podcast, and I love it. It's gonna become my show. Girl, F them kids. Because and what that means is favor your kids. Favor. That's the F word. Favor your kids enough to put you first.
Which is
put
true.
your mental health first. Because
Yes.
if I cannot present my best self in any relationship, then the relationship is going to suffer because resentment is going to happen. It's going to show in my members and my look. It's going to come out. How you feel about something or someone is going to come out.
It always does.
And it's going to consume you.
Yeah, that's the thing. And your relationship with your kids is just as big as any other. I mean, it's not bigger because you don't want your babies to grow up and resent you for not recovering and not being able to be the best parent that you could have been. You know what I mean? That's always been my fear. So
I know my mom. She was going through so much. She had a hard time paying that much attention to me, but her mother didn't pay attention to her at all. Yeah. So I kind of always just did my own thing. So for me and my kids, I'm probably too nosy.
You are
so
in their life.
Yeah.
She is in their life. And but that's okay. No, I love it. You need to be.
But sometimes I think, you know what? I need to rear it on back a little bit and let them become a little bit more independent. So I'm like, okay, what was I missing? And then you become overbearing, and it's so hard to be a parent. It's
hard to be a parent because I don't even know what I'm doing half the time, but I know everything. You know what I mean? That's my mentality. I got it. No matter what, we're gonna figure it out. Thank you, Jesus, help me. Like, I mean, that's just how I roll every day.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I'm talking about. That balance point in finding what your emotional legacy was. So you have to. So for the last 10 years, when my mom passed in 2011, I was standing over her coffin. Nobody ever realized what I was thinking. I am going to be healthy and live my full life healthy. My mom ended up getting pre-diabetes. She didn't take care of it and do what she supposed. Diabetes, then the health complications that come with that, dialysis and bladder cancer, those kind of things. So one of the things I promised was I was not going to die from something totally preventable.
Ooh, good. That's a good one.
So I'm work on my health.
That's a good one.
Oh, I'm pre-diabetes? Food does not have control over my life.
That's right.
Okay, number one. And then number two, I'm going to find out who she could have been as a woman. My mom was a pastor when women in our denomination were not accepted as pastors.
Really?
Right? So she was a conqueror. I took these 10 years to discover myself, like who I am at my core. Had I put me first, what my life could have been, and where's the lie? Like, I lied to myself way before a man or anybody else did.
That's true.
Right.
That's why it was so easy, because I'm lying to myself. I got my parents on this platform up here, and I didn't give my mom credit for being a woman. I couldn't see her as a woman outside of her being my mom.
Right.
And my mom, I saw all her strengths, but I didn't see where she may have been deficient at. And that caused me to be angry with her.
So true. I never
You know what I mean? But in her generation, that we as women, we're taught to heal in the dark. Yes. Don't let people see. You gotta hold everybody up. You gotta hold your children up. Well, my freaking children are grown. I guess what? I had to tell them, listen, I will respond to your life crisis, but not your life challenges. Your life challenges are for you to figure out.
That's true. No,
you know, I don't owe you the obligation of babysitting your kids.
That's really
you
true.
know, and we have to. I don't think we give ourselves permission to be who we are. I love my grandkids. I love watching them, but we let society give us a role, and anytime we break out of it, we get our hands slapped.
Yes.
And then we go hide back in that hole.
Yeah, it is true.
Everybody's different.
It's true.
Right. Everyone's got their own life to live.
Well, yes, and your life might not fit the way I want to live mine, and that's okay. It's called freedom.
Right.
Yeah.
And it costs.
And it costs. It does
because
cost.
they bully you on social media
Oh.
about being free.
Oh, everybody.
Ridiculous.
Big old
Right.
is on social
It's
media.
a problem now that we have freedom.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
I mean, I don't understand that.
It's
Yeah.
not a problem that we have it. It's a problem that we operate in it, because most of the things that we as women want to do, we're taught that that's a double standard. Even sexual freedom, we don't even talk about. We enjoy it just as much as a man.
And it's true.
You
we're talking
But
bad
Why
about.
can't we talk about it?
It's a dirty,
it's a
because
dirty thing.
it doesn't align with people's version of what
Yes.
submission looks like.
Exactly, because you're supposed to submit.
Because
and
you're
keep
not
that
supposed to,
secret.
you're not supposed to talk about those things publicly. And that's what we don't talk about in our homes with our daughters in a healthy way.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the emotional legacy we're passing on. So it makes them open to what you were open to.
Yep.
Your parents may have been great.
Yes.
However, they may not have talked to you in the manner that your husband was able to.
Right.
Which is how he was able to reel you in.
Which is true.
He talked to what you were lacking.
Oh, interesting.
Right.
Okay.
That's some good stuff.
That's some deep
man. That's some
shit.
psychology stuff right there.
I'm gonna go home and talk. Be like, I gotta call her.
Okay, conference.
I mean, what'd she say again? Rewinded.
Well, that's what in my bio, that's what soul care expert means. It's the psychology of how your soul is set up and how
I love
we're
that
to look
soul
at.
care expert.
No.
It's
Ah.
difficult.
I love that.
Your
I
soul
know,
is
it's
your
good
mind, your
stuff.
will, and your emotions. That's your
Girl.
soul.
So
where are you
true.
mentally, emotionally, intellect? Where are you?
Yeah, and then that all starts with your core. I mean, it's gonna reflect upon how you take care of yourself. It's gonna reflect upon how you carry yourself. It's gonna reflect upon what you're looking at, what you're engaging in. It's gonna reflect on all of that.
Everything.
You know, the more you feel more important, you do more important things.
Right.
If you're devaluing yourself by a certain
And you don't really
thing,
get out there and do things.
Yeah.
Yeah. You talk to yourself in a way that was dishonoring who you are before anybody ever did.
That's probably, that's true.
And because they did, that was a familiar voice, so you went with it. When you stop talking to yourself, when you stop talking down to yourself, oh, that was stupid. No. I'm allowed to make a mistake. It was not stupid.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When we do that, we won't allow outside voices to infiltrate us. We'll be more willing to set boundaries.
That's so true. Okay, well, we're going to take a break one moment, and when we get back, we're going to continue this because I want to talk about boundaries some more.
Yeah, and I want to talk about the rehabilitative stuff that you're
Oh,
doing.
yes, that's even more interesting.
Y'all stay tuned.
The Natural Nation Network is really about taking control of your health physically, spiritually, emotionally, even intellectually, because there's so much out there in misinformation. There's a lot of people now that are suffering from all sorts of diseases that they really wouldn't have to suffer for if they had better information. And that's what we're here to do. Provide information that can save lives.
The mind and the body are totally connected.
Health can be really serious, and you know, sometimes we just have to lighten it up a little bit while we're still providing substantive information. And you know, my sort of mantra on the salsa dance floor is kind of similar. You know, I tell somebody, if you make a mistake twice, it becomes a move. Okay?
Tune into Natural Nation every Tuesday at 11 a.m.
Welcome back to the Women's Empowerment segment here on Edge Radio TV Network, where the truth still matters. We have Pastor Kimberly Lanier, pastor and soul care expert. Yes. And I just love the way that sounds. We were just talking on break about God in our life, and there's power in life through the tongue and what we speak over people. Yes. We can be angry. God will know we'll be angry. We have to forgive, but elaborate a little bit on what you were saying.
So the Bible says, be angry, but sin not. And people get cussing and cursing confused. Cussing is, the typical cuss word.
My favorite.
Cursing is when I speak to you or speak over you in a manner that does not align with who God called you. When I call someone ugly, God said everything he did was good. So the fact that you were birthed out, I've spoken a word curse. Or when I say something like, you'll never be nothing, I have cursed who God purposed you to be in this earth. That's not my right.
Right.
And God takes offense with that. That's a word curse. And he does not like that. So imagine if I speak that to myself.
Right.
Girl, you just dumb. That was dumb what you did. Oh, you're an idiot. Oh, you deserve to be beat because you shouldn't have said that. Oh, you are skinny. You're too small. Oh, you just don't look right. You don't. I am cursing what God says about me because he says that he fearfully and wonderfully made me. So who am I to? Now I'm calling God a liar because he said this about me, but I'm saying this about me. And that is just like calling God. I mean, when
true.
When you're growing up, when your mama said, hey, go clean that room up. Mama, I cleaned my room up. It's not clean. That bed is not made. It wasn't made when I walked through. Yes, it is. So you calling me a lie? That's what your mom used to say. It's the same thing with God. I said this about you. You just said this about you. So you calling me a liar.
Yep.
And he and when we as women, especially women, learn to know that in God we're protected and we're loved, we won't let people, including our children, and men, mishandle us. We'll be okay with setting boundaries.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm all about those boundaries. I've taught those girls I mean, I've learned so much. I just turned 35 last week, and let me tell you, that is the one thing I have learned. Boundaries. I don't have to let you in.
She's really proud of him too.
Well, you should be. I'll be 53 this year, and over the
it's the one thing I've learned, and I can spot a red flag triple miles away. Like I love how much I've grown. Literally in the past 5 years, I've grown, and I can see those things, and I set those boundaries, and I stick to them. Life is 10 times different.
Stick up for yourself,
Yes.
I set loving boundaries, and when I say loving, because every time we see a red flag, that's not meant for us to disconnect, because sometimes we're a red flag. Sometimes I still pop off a little bit.
I think I do too. I call that people shaking the Jesus out of me.
Don't do that. I know
she's about to shake Jesus out of me.
No, come on, Jesus was a thug. He went in the temple, turning over tables and whipping people. Come on, man. Don't make me go to the temple, Jesus, on y'all. I said loving boundaries where I say, I notice first I want to see if it's a pattern.
Right.
So I'm just chill, because if that's the case, we'll be triggered everywhere.
That is
calling
true.
people out for everything, and maybe it's just us that needs to heal.
Truth.
Right?
Very true.
So triggers can mean either I need to heal or I need to pay attention to this.
Right.
So I watch patterns. Once the pattern is established, that means you did it 1, 2, 3 times. Let's have a conversation.
Now we're talking.
I remember somebody. I have a mentor who is so important to me, but he is very well known, globally, especially by who he's connected to.
Yeah.
And he said to me, we were family. And then he did something that I didn't see coming. So I texted him, we still family? Did you kick me to the curb? And he was just like, I know it was refreshing for him because of his status, people don't. I just need to know.
Yeah,
I have questions. I do not, because
on the same way.
Boundaries. I need to know if I'm crossing your boundaries.
Yes.
Or if we are not communicating anymore. Just tell me.
I'm
not gonna beg.
No, I won't beg.
So ghosting doesn't work for me.
It doesn't work
because
for me.
I'm a ghost catcher. Yeah,
I'm a ghoster.
It's
if anything.
so yellow. It's so yellow bellied
telling
just to cut people off and not explained as to why.
I've done it a couple
It's so
times, and then I
yellow-bellied.
came back and I was like, "That's not me." So let me explain. Like,
yeah,
I've done it.
Yeah,
I've done it too, but I had to evolve past. Well, I used to not do it because I would explain and tell.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you did, but then now you're playing with my intelligence because you telling me this. And, okay. So I had to learn discipline because remember I came out of popping relationships, so I had to learn to keep my hands to myself. Like you know what I mean?
I know that.
I had to learn to keep my hands to myself and my mouth to myself.
Hey, when you in that relationship, you are a boxer. I mean, I'm sorry. That's why I'm not afraid of a woman. I mean, I'm not a grown man.
You could get. I mean, you could get it. So I had to learn.
I do want our audience to know the portion of your rehabilitation for the incarcerated women.
Yes.
How can people find you if they know someone that's willing to create a new beginning for their life and seek help and education that they need so they can have a new journey?
So I have what I do for women and men coming out of prison. So I just set up it took me actually not just set up. This is the first time I'm announcing it. So ta-da!
Okay, so heard it here first.
You heard it here first.
Tell us.
So I have an office location now that I could do my intake in. For women and men coming out of prison. I am in full-scale developing programs. I have Recovery Kitchen, and that's where if you want to be a chef or anything, cooking is
it's so soothing and it is medicated.
Yeah,
kind of.
So I have partnerships that I'm working those partnerships with restaurants to say, once they go through this program, would you look at hiring them? The Phoenician downtown, I don't know if anybody knows it, amazing food, but a lot of their staff are men that have come out of prison. Right.
You would never know.
Right. Yeah. So, and I'm developing a welding program and a construction program because those are the most forgiving industries for formerly
make a realistic expectation for them.
And the money, I'll say this, my own son who is 36, at 21, he got in some trouble. He has a felon. Mm-hmm. He came out, he welded for 5 years, and at 28 became the youngest certified welding inspector. Because once you get the 5-year experience, you now can take the welding 6-figure income.
I love it.
So you can literally recover your life, financial intuitiveness.
Yep.
And next month, the third Thursday of the month, I'm going to start back doing my group for women.
Nice.
So you can come and talk about your trauma. It's totally free. What I do,
support circle.
It's a support. It's more than a support circle. I have rules and goals. First of all, don't talk crap about people's business outside of their room, because I will sue you. I will sue you for failure. You'll never win. I'll sue you.
Defamation of character.
That's right. I sue you, and you're signing off on that. Number one. Number two. I feed them healthy food. Like in my last group, women had never experienced alkaline water.
Girl, don't get me
started.
Alkaline water.
I introduced these women to alkaline water. HEB used to donate to me all the time. So I introduced them to foods that they never thought, for cultural reasons or just background reasons, or just
up on higher vibration.
Working out.
Love it.
I saw one of the ladies who was in my group.
I would love to come out and work everybody out one day.
There you go.
Would you let me do that?
Yes, because they got to commit. They have to commit to boot camp. So they have to commit to a contract. It's a year program, and at the end of the year, with other partners. If you want to go into real estate, if you want to go into,
I got your real estate.
I'm a licensed insurance agent, so you can work. I can help you get your license. Now, everybody coming out of prison can't, you can't do the license thing. But I have other programs that help you financially readily get on your feet, because
I love it.
Finances is the main barrier.
Yep. That's right.
Always.
That's right.
For everything, really.
When you're depressed, when you're poor, and so you just self-medicate, and then it gets you in more trouble again. And financial stability is everything.
It really
so the program is a gradual raising the vibration, like you said, tools in place, They are rules, but I don't present them as rules because I don't want them to feel like they have to. But no, if you don't, this program doesn't fit, I'll refer you out.
Right.
And I'm only dealing with women who want the help.
How can people find you?
Yes.
Facebook, UHURUWINGI. All of my media, Facebook, Instagram, Yahura Wingy, which actually means freedom and abundance.
Love it.
Okay, spell that one more time.
UHURUWINGI. You can also call 281-653-4217 and set an appointment with me.
I love it.
All right, I love it. Thank you so much for your time today, and thank you guys for watching. Tune in next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.